Hello, we are talking about what they don't tell you about working in the film industry. Specifically today, some of the not so good things about our industry, some of the tougher things, some of the harder things that most of us do not enjoy at all. So hopefully you learn a few things as we dive deeper into this hard topic. First thing up is our long hours. A lot of us are working 12 plus 1 hour days, 12 hours work, 1 hour lunch. Now then, these types of hours do change depending on if you're working with kids or animals, depending on your country, your state, your province that you're living in. So there's no guarantee that you're going to be working this hour. But I would say in a large majority of the cases, to not be surprised if you find yourself working 12 plus 1 minimum. It's not unheard of to be working 13, 14, 15-hour days. I've done far longer days on set personally. So don't be surprised if you come across a really long day like this. Sometimes we're filming on location where they only have it for one day or one night, in which case production is going to want to shoot out everything to make sure they get their day. So they're going to film as long as they need to be able to get what they need. They might have an actor and actress on set for only a certain period of time. So they're going to make sure that they get that individual shot out, all the scenes, everything that they need from that person, because they might never be able to get that actor or actress back again because their schedule is so full up. They might be jumping on another movie. They might be flying to another country. There's various different reasons, but those make for really long days. Now, when we start our Monday at say 5, 6, or 7 o'clock in the morning call time, and we have got 13, 14, 15-hour days, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday back to back, we find ourselves on Friday, starting Friday at 6, 7, 8 p.m. sometimes is our starting time, which means then we go into Saturday. So we won't finish that week until Saturday at 7, 8, 9 a.m. in the morning sometimes. And it's not unheard of to work 6 or 7 days in a row, even longer. I just finished a stretch of working 20 days straight on my last show. So working 6 and 7 day weeks, you will find yourself in. Now, when we're working Friday into Saturday like that, we call those fratter days. When we're finishing at 6, 7, 8 on a Saturday, back 7, 8, 9 sometimes on a Saturday night, same day to start filming. So we find ourselves in those types of situations. This can be very taxing on our bodies, very taxing on our health, very taxing on our family, friends. Trying to plan or book anything goes right out the door a week, because once we do that one week, well, hey, guess what? That rolls over into the next week, into the next week, into the next week, until something changes on the script or production buys out a turnaround, which is very helpful, but not always done. So I'm not saying you're going to find yourself on this all the time. And it does vary based off of if you're doing a union gig to a non-union gig, more specifically talking longer format TV shows and movies where you're on it week after week. Now, no one's forcing you to be here, but it is a part of the job that you do need to be aware of. Now, when we're talking short-term projects, corporate video, music video, commercial, that type of thing, independent short film type of like project where you're working as a daily or as an individual, you can find yourselves on a Monday shooting days, on a commercial, Tuesday picking up a music video at nighttime, Wednesday doing a corporate video during the morning or afternoon type of like thing, and your schedule still shifting quite a bit. Now, once again, you don't have to take those jobs. You can absolutely say no to them. But when you're first starting off, don't be surprised if they don't call you back for the next day. They don't necessarily know what your work week is, especially when you're working as an individual. They don't necessarily know what your schedule is. They just know that you turned them down for a job that they offered you, and they might not offer it again. They might pass it on to the next person. So you got to be really mindful about the jobs you say yes and no to, and is it going to work with your schedule or not? What are you willing to sacrifice to be able to succeed and thrive in this industry? And so for those of us that live out of town, it can be even harder. Our studio might be in one place that we're filming at, but it's no surprise that we film in different locations in other towns, cities, and villages that also extend or push those drives further for us. Now, and in some cases, in some shows, they will have a transport department that will help you shuttle you around, get you to location and back. But generally, it's not a door-to-door service, but it does help. And on top of that, because you're working these grueling hours in days and weeks, the people you work with can be, to put it nicely, can be really rough around the edges. Just even getting paid sometimes as well can be really grueling. When we're doing a union job, thankfully, we've got the support of the union. There's great contracts in there to make sure we are covered, we get paid. But if we're an independent, if we're freelance, if we're our own corporation, hounding and going after people, even just to pay us, can be very time consuming and very emotionally draining. A lot of these production companies will say, oh, it checks in the mail, you get an e-transfer on Friday, and it never comes. It's not uncommon. There are really good independent production companies and commercial houses that do pay well and on time, and I applaud them for it, and you want to find those companies. But there are a lot of other people that will underpay you, pay you below minimum wage, try and build a case that you have to take this job, or they'll pay you as long as you sign on for the next gig. There's going to be situations and times that you're going to come across and get faced with this that is going to be really, really tough and really difficult. Similar to some of the days where the content that we film can be very exciting, right? Some of like the action movies, comedy movies, and documentaries can be very interesting content. On the flip side, some of this content can be really dry, really dull, really, really boring. And so even myself, I found one day I actually fell asleep holding the mic while I was operating it in an interview, fell right off the chair, right in front of everybody. Really embarrassing, really bad. And so you have to decide, is this worth it? Do I want the paycheck, or do I want the work? Do I want these crazy hours? It's really going to come down to you at the end of the day. What are you going to put into the industry is really what you're going to get out of it. And so some of these things I might have mentioned about might actually be a positive. You might actually look at this and be like, I don't know what your problem is, Tony. There's some fun and exciting things here. In which case, leave them in the description below. I want to know about those things. Tell me about what those hard things that you go through that you really enjoy. Now, what we've been doing the last number of weeks has been going through kind of my top 10 questions that I normally get asked on a regular basis. And so I strongly encourage you to check them out. We were going through, should I go to film school or not? How do I find work? In this case, pros and cons of the film industry type of like thing. So check that out. There's lots of good content there. If you're looking to get in the film industry, if you're looking to start off, if you're just curious about things, there's lots of good content there. But what we're going to be doing moving forward is we're actually going to be going on set. We're going to go and meet people that are in the industry in all the different fields and departments. I know the top, camera, director, producer, and those types of roles, but we're going to be not only covering them, but we're going to be covering all the other departments, all the other different positions as well. So when I use the word swing, do you know what a swing is? When I say best boy grip, best boy girl, do you know what that is? A second or a third? Do you know what a trainee is? Some of these different positions or departments have you even heard of before? So we're going to dive into that. So I know it's going to be really cool. I know you're going to like it. Come on, check out the next episode because we're going to have a good time.